I would like to welcome you all in the lecture series of control systems. In this session, I am going to discuss most important questions which you can expect from module 4. So moving on to the discussion, I request everybody to pay the attention here. The first and the foremost, I'll be discussing theory part. Later, I can show you some numerical example. The first one is explain the frequency domain specification. So you will be getting for 6 marks question. So you have to talk about resonant, like resonant frequency, bandwidth, etc. Next is list the advantages of using root locus method. Why root locus method is required? What are the major merits? Okay, you have to specify. Next is write a note on breakaway points and asymptote. Okay, equations, it is better to write the equations. Next is state any three rules of plotting the root locus. That's also very important. So these two, these theory parts are very important. So I request you to go through the rules and regulation whenever you are going to plot the root locus, that you have to take care. I'll be showing you the summary about root locus at the end of the session. Kindly pay the attention. So you'll be getting so many numerical examples. So Bode plot. Okay. So the one transfer function is provided for you. And now you need to calculate the gain margin and phase margin for the corresponding function. Okay. So you are supposed to use the Bode plot. Semilograph will be provided along with the university booklet. So no need to worry. There itself you can plot. Steps, you have to prepare the steps table, then identify the gain margin, gain crossover frequency, phase crossover frequency, then phase margin. Okay, all the parameter has to be determined. So another important question is, I'll be showing you the rules of plotting the Bode plot at the end of the session. Now what you can do is you can have a look on the another question that is on root locus. Okay, look at this. The transfer function is provided, then you have to provide the root locus. In that, the so many number of steps are included. So by at the end, please be stay tuned till at the end of the session. I'll be showing you the simple notes of root locus. Okay, how to make the root locus. So this is also another question related to root locus, which carries 6 marks. There is another question which carries 10 marks, root locus. Here S into S plus 1 plus S plus 2. There are 4 number of poles available. Now, the Bode plot is given. From this, you need to calculate the following. Okay, find the open loop transfer function based on the given Bode plot. Sketch the root locus for the given function. Okay, then derive an expression for resonant peak and resonant frequency omega r for a standard second order system, which has the weightage of 4 marks. Okay, so these are the important questions. You'll be getting so many numerical example. Theory part is very less, but if you focus on that, you can score well in numerical example. Now I am going to show you the important steps regarding the root locus. I request you to pay the attention for a while. Okay, now we can see the root locus. I have given the definition of root locus. Why it is called a root locus, and what is the root locus can be plotted in the explained by varying the system parameters, usually the gain over a range of 0 to infinity. Okay, so why it is required mainly for stability analysis. Okay, so let's see, these are the different steps which are involved in root locus. Now, please go through this particular definition. Okay, who has developed the root locus? The rules. See, first rule is the root locus is always symmetrical with respect to real axis. How to calculate the total loci? Maximum of pole comma zeros. So total number of asymptotes. How to calculate p minus sets? How to calculate angle of asymptote? Use the formula 2x plus 1 by p minus z into 180 degree. So x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. Calculate the centroid of asymptote. Centroid of asymptote is given by summation of real part of the pole minus summation of real part of zeros divided by p minus z. Centroid is nothing but meeting point of the asymptote. So I have marked the centroid as well. Then calculation of the breakaway point. How to calculate the breakaway point? First of all, you can use the formula 1 plus g of s into h of s. Look at this. 1 plus g of s h of s, that is equal to 0. Then what you can do is dk by ds. Do the differentiation of k with respect to s and equate to 0. Okay. Then you solve for s is the breakaway point. Clear? So these are the rules and regulation. At least 3 rules you have to write neatly. Okay, because some question you might have seen. At least some 3 rules you need to write. Then identification of angle of departure. Okay, so there are rules. Angle of departure explains at what angle the lines will get emerged from the pole. Okay, Rule number 8, calculation of intersection to the imaginary axis. Like you can use Routh array. So 1 plus d of s h of s equal to 0. Later, what you can do is look at the denominator, then construct the Routh array, then find the value of k, whether k margin is it stable or not, you can able to identify. Clear? Rule number 9, the root locus always start from the open loop poles and terminate finite open loop 0 or infinity. Rule number 10, if the number of poles greater than number of zeros of the branches terminate to infinity. Similarly, if the number of zeros greater than number of poles, branches start at infinity. So rule number 11, at the a point on the real axis lies on the focus if the number of open loop poles plus number of open loop zeros on the left half of S-plane must be odd. Okay, so here these are the conditions. You please go through that. Then next is rule number 12. Where we are having the two poles, then there will be one breakaway point, one opposite hand. On the opposite hand, wherever we are having two zeros, then there will be one breakaway point. So these are the different rules. You please go through that. Then angle of departure, calculation of angular departure. Okay, 180 minus 5. See, angle of departure is also having a most important role. So, phi is the angle created by zeros minus angle created by the poles. Procedure for constructing the root locus. See, it is very clearly mentioned. Find out the number of pole, number of zeros, and obtain the root loci, maximum of number of pole comma zeros. Determine the asymptote. Find out the angle of asymptote. Calculation of centroid. So remember the formula. Computation of breakaway point, dk by ds equal to 0, that formula. Intersection of imaginary axis, angle of departure and angle of arrival. Those things you need to calculate. Use the formula. This construction, basic construction you have to remember. Okay. Then like angle of arrival. Okay. Plotting of root locus in the S-plane. These are the various steps which are involved in the root locus. If you want, I will show you one example also. There is one question you can see. Very simple question. See, step number 1. Obtain the loci. Okay, root loci. Then calculation of asymptote. Use the formula. Then I computed the angle of asymptotes. That also we have the formula. Then calculation of centroid of asymptote. Use the same formula which is already given. Then calculation of breakaway point. That is most important part of this particular steps. Then ultimately breakaway point is equal to -1. You may get a separate question to compute the breakaway point sometimes. Intersection to the imaginary axis. For that purpose, I have used a Routh array. Then found that k greater than 0. Then found that there is no intersection of at the imaginary part. Then there is no k margin. Later plotting of the root locus. So like this I plotted. Okay. Green line you can see that how I plotted. Okay. Then in that you have to consider 0, poles, everything you have to consider accordingly. Then see, this is the way how to calculate. Another example is given. See, look at this. So try to follow up. If you follow up, then you can manage it effectively. So you can pause the video and you can check the calculation is correct or not. You have some mathematical mathematical skill that is expected. So if you make it properly, then there is no need to worry. Do the calculation systematically. Ultimately, this plotting has to be done. Okay, that's all. So these are the calculations regarding loop. Ultimately, I have done with root locus. Okay. Then basics of root locus, I could give the session. Then those who wanted to go through the wanted to study the root locus within 5 minutes, this is more than sufficient. Okay. So thank you for watching this video. Kindly go through all the questions and don't leave not even single questions. Okay. You try to write the formula at least. Definitely you can get the like a pass mark. Like some people don't leave the question. Many of the people, they are leaving the question. Without that, I try to appear and try to use your mathematical skill and get the marks. So happy learning. Have a great day.